Of all the complaints and criticism and moans I get about EV charging, the vast majority are about paying to charge. You have to have dozens of RFID cards, multiple apps, contactless bank cards, maybe use QR codes, and on top of all that, you have horrendous pre-authorization fees. Well, sit back, problem solved. I'm Dave, welcome to Dave Takes It On. Great news indeed. Now, to clarify, many of these complaints end up saying, and I quote here, "Oh, because of all this hassle, I will stick with my petrol car. 5 minutes and I can be gone." So half the people complaining, they don't even have an EV and they're moaning. Why? Do you think it's to help me as an EV driver who's been doing this for 4 years? I suspect not. So let's smash that one immediately. When you with your ICE car go to a petrol station, and we know all about this because we were once, long ago, EV ICE drivers ourselves, you have a multiple choice. You can use a bank card at the pump at some sites, not others, or you can fill up and use a bank card in the shop or kiosk, or you can pay cash in the shop or kiosk. Now, you've probably also forgotten, but many people also choose to use a Nectar card or a Tesla Club card. You've actually got more choice than us EV drivers. The problem you have with contactless is that the petrol station will almost certainly take a pre-authorization fee. These are commonly £50, but can be as much as £99 legally. And that may not clear for several days. And I've heard cases anecdotally where it was several weeks. Imagine going on a road trip where you might have to fill up 2, 3 or 4 times, and each time you lose nearly £100 to pre-authorization. Well, let's just hope you had a healthy bank balance when you set off. One thing you lack is an app, and you are missing out, well, sort of, because you have apps for absolutely everything else. Most of us live our lives with apps. We have the Tesla or Nectar card on an app. We might have a Costa or Starbucks app, and then use our banking app on the smartphone for the payment. If we want to book a restaurant, we do that on an app on the phone, and we carry a copy of that so that we can use it when we get there to confirm the booking, and we can actually often use the same app to order food and drink while we're sitting at the table without even having to get up and queue up at the bar. Even McDonald's now has an app. You can actually order in advance or go to your table and order with an app from there. Just put your table number in. Now, in fact, it goes much further than that because I see most people are now using their smartphones to pay for most things. At the supermarkets, countless people now just swipe their phones using Google Pay, Apple Pay or Android Pay, whichever it is. Now, I recently saw a large notice on the motorways on the M6, the toll road, and at a toll booth it said, "Warning, you cannot use a smartphone at this booth. You must use your bank card." And of course, the driver in front of me was trying to use his phone, as he actually no longer carried around a banking card. Now, talking of tolls, I often go through the Mersey Tunnel, and they have a fast tag system. Well, or should I say they did have. It's been, I don't know, upgraded, taken over, superseded, or whatever they call it. And it's now called, I think it's T-Flow. You enter your registration number and ANPR, that's automatic number plate recognition, lets you just drive straight through without stopping. Payment is taken automatically. So we actually live with apps already every day. So I actually feel sorry for you ICE drivers having to get out of your car and walk over to the shop or kiosk in order to pay. We EV drivers don't have to do that. We have far more choice, including apps. But we also do not want that much choice in many cases. Now, as Dave takes it on, I try my best to keep you up to date. I drive around all the various charging networks and actually try them out. They do not all charge what their websites say they will charge, and some offer really fast charging speeds, while others are embarrassingly slow. And in the early days, more than 5 years ago for me, I needed to apply for an RFID card. This is rather like a Tesco club card or an Nectar card, and that had to be posted out to me. And of course, just like the supermarkets, who all have their own loyalty cards, so the EV charger networks all had their own RFID cards. And the trouble was, you couldn't use those to pay for your charging session. You had to use something else for that, but the RFID was just a way of identifying you. So we had not only RFID, we usually also had contactless payment as well. Well, unfortunately, RFID back then, it was, if you can't use it, can't charge. It's really simple. But there was not a single card I could get that worked as all EV chargers. It was a mess. And I had dozens of these RFID cards. Some only ever used just once. Well, eventually, thank you, apps arrived around the same time, but some, but only some, added contactless bank card terminals. So now instead of a dozen RFID cards, I had a dozen apps and 1 or 2 contactless bank cards. Well, it was much simpler. Apps are on your phone all the time. You don't have to carry anything. So it was a slight improvement. But then, shortly afterwards, they made contactless bank cards compulsory, and the situation improved drastically. You now need 1 card, and as long as the contactless works, which is not always, then you can charge. But as a Tesla driver, I've had a very different experience for the last 4 years. You see, when I bought the car, I registered all my details with Tesla, my name, my address, and my payment method. They added the car details, and then we put in our debit card or credit card or PayPal or whatever method we were paying, and that was it. We were permanently logged in. Now Tesla is fully integrated, so all the cars constantly talk to Tesla, Tesla constantly talks to the chargers, everyone knows everything about it. I'm quite happy with that. So we're permanently logged into the system. So it doesn't detect you when you walk up towards it. I've just closed this. There's a button on top of every Tesla plug, and all you do, press that, and the port springs open and the socket unlocks. So all I do now is plug it in. And at this point, that's the end of it. That now stops the charging and releases the plug, so I can remove the plug and return it, taking off my adapter, return it to... In real time, when I reverse into a supercharger bay, I get out, I take the plug out of the charger, I press the button on the plug, and my charging flap opens and the charging socket unlocks. I plug in and walk away. That's it. No RFID card, no credit card, no contactless, absolutely nothing. And we even have no need to use the app. We don't need the app for charging. It's there for information. So I literally plug in, walk away. Well, for all you non-Tesla owners, Fastned has just introduced exactly this system. It's called Autocharge. And also, last time I went to GridServe down their Braintree hub before Christmas, they told me that they were going to be introducing exactly the same method later this year, and possibly or even including a membership. Now, I don't know what method they're using, what they'll call it, but they, if they're on track, will be launching their own Autocharge equivalent later this year. So how does it work? Can anyone use it? Well, as to how it works, all EVs have an onboard computer and they store certain information. And they're identified, it's a bit like a SIM card in your phone. It knows which car is which. Now the chargers, be they Tesla, Fastned or shortly GridServe, also have computers, they have unique addresses, and they're constantly monitoring the chargers for availability and faults. and to be able to feed back to their websites and apps and maps like ZapMap and WhatsApp the availability. How many are free? So when you go to charge at, say, Fastned, when you go to pay, the first time it will ask you if you want Fastned to store your car and payment method for the future. It is entirely voluntary. You don't have to use it. But if you choose to do that, store your details, it will be stored. And the very next time you charge at a Fastned charger, it will immediately recognise your car. It will remember your payment details. So literally all you do is plug in and Fastned computer does the rest. If you do have their app, and you don't need to have it, but if you do, it will update with the progress. So first of all, you can see that your car is actually charging. Then you can see how fast it's charging. It will also tell you how long it's going to take before you reach whatever limit you set. And it will tell you when it has reached your preset limit. So at that point, you just simply unplug and it will calculate how much you've charged and it will take payment from your chosen method automatically. You just unplug, drive off. That's it. So Autocharge, Autopay, whatever you like to call it, it is the simplest way of charging. Yes, you do or can have an app, but you don't actually need to use it. It is there for your information. Yes, you still probably carry around a contactless card or your banking app on your phone, but you don't need to use either of them either. Pull up, plug in, unplug, drive off. It is the future, but it's already here today. Well done, Fastned. Now, who can use it? Well, the list is really long and the vast majority of cars are quite happy. But for technical reasons, VW cannot. VW have, most people, they've got a MAC address, which tells the computer, tells everyone else what your unique MAC address is. This is nothing to do with Apple Mac, this is a MAC address, which is to do with the internet. And Volkswagen changes every time you start up the car. So they can't actually identify which car yours is, because each time you start it up, it's a different MAC address. So every single model of VWs cannot use Autocharge. Likewise, your CHAdeMO sockets can't use Autocharge. So things like the Nissan Leaf. CHAdeMO is just not compatible. But that is about the limit of which can use Autocharge. The vast majority of EV owners can use it. Even my older Tesla Model S is coming up now to, 8 years old? And that's fully compatible. I've registered on the app, put all my details in, and I'm just waiting to the next time I go and charge my car at a Fastned charger. Unfortunately, there are none anywhere near me. The nearest one's over 100 miles away, so this might take a while. But the very next time I use a Fastned charger, it will automatically ask me, do I want to activate it? Okay, now, again, I don't have to. But I'm told I will have that option. And the whole point about Autocharge is making things so much simpler. So when I would charge next at a Fastned, it shouldn't be very long, I'll let you know how it all went. Now, the Autocharge type system has been available and used by all Teslas and Tesla drivers since the very first Tesla took to the roads. It is exactly like Autocharge, but it goes one simple step further. On every charger plug on a supercharger, there is a button. Press this and the charger port flap opens and the charger socket unlocks. Now, for non-Tesla owners, if you press that button, it doesn't work on your car, I'm afraid. You will probably have to open an app to open your charger port or go into the car and open it from the display. Some of them will allow you to open it by pressing the charger itself, but they often don't unlock the charger socket. You might have to go into an app or the car to do that bit. It's trivial, but it just simplifies the process. If when you get there, press a button, the charger flap opens, unlocks, and you plug it in. Now, I'm not sure which method GridServe will adopt. Oh, in fact, I don't even know if they'll actually launch any system, or if they do, when it will be. I sincerely hope they do. They have talked about it. At one time it was on the website, but it's now disappeared. If you use Autocharge of any sort, or any other company I haven't mentioned, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you found the application process and how you found actually using it for the first time when it asked you, hopefully, do you want to store this? And let me know whether the very next time you charged, it went smoothly. Well, thanks very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please click the like button. And if you would, please subscribe. It makes such a difference to us as a new channel. If you click the bell icon, the notification, you'll be notified the next time we launch a video. And a massive, massive, massive thank you, last but not least, to our Patreon members. This side of the business is growing dramatically. We've had our most successful month ever, and thank you so much for your support for the channel. I'm Dave.